Oh, yes. Um, I was thinking about, oh, there it is. One pill choices. Take the lead. I thought I should be a lot more involved in leadership, and this is a nice advertisement. It has something to do with HIV. Yes. Could you get me all the blood donors that have AIDS and how many times they've donated blood? There should be. Well, you wouldn't want to have a blood transfusion when you're receiving blood from somebody that has AIDS. For all of those in the military that are excited about this being blood donors so as to increase the supply of blood of the United States, could you get me the disclosures necessary for every blood donor of the United States as well as the signature and the disclosures of all of those that have been plasma donors? you know, I was looking at sending out a newsletter, and I know the importance of newsletters. Could you give me every web page and website of all of those sermons that have newsletters? Which, in fact, give me the IP address of every preacher in the United States that's been ordained. Yes. Or has a 501c3. Yes. I'd like to know exactly who's receiving the newsletters from America's evangelicals. Now, it's one of these things that I thought, well, some people have said unsubscribed as if my emails were a newsletter about corruption. Yes, fraud. Violating the penalty of perjury because of the omission of something that happened on Guam after my record was expunged. Yes. Child abduction and child exploitation felonies. Yeah. Civil rights. And every time I got an unsubscribed, yes, could you get me the identities of those individuals and whether or not they have a legal or professional obligation for the enforcement of the laws? Ooch. Child abduction laws, child kidnapping laws. Yes. See, when you issue a dissolution of marriage where the sole purpose of me not getting notice was so as to violate my procedure on substantive due process, I was not able to admit as evidence the expungement of my court record. Yes. And since that expungement allows for me to not have the liability of the arrest and the jailing that took place then, yes, you're giving of my custody of my sons to my wife without any proof of actual court hearings. Yes. Is actual child abduction and kidnapping that Class B felony? Yes. Now, we went through those mandatory guidelines for incarceration of those that are in law enforcement that decided to be complicit in the conspiracy of depriving Americans of their rights. I'm going to want to put you in prison, and I'm going to want to have all of your assets. Now, for those in the union, the teachers' union in Seattle or Washington State, every one of you that know about this, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue your union. Yes. And if Heidi is still a teacher in Brendan or any other location of the United States, if she did not admit to the court during the dissolution of marriage when I was not given notice of court hearings, after she motioned the court for default dissolution of marriage, that my record was expunged and I actually have no criminal record, yes, I'm going to say it was a fraudulent dissolution of marriage without any jurisdiction or authority of law. And all the time that I've been missing with my sons, yes, I'm going to sue each and every individual that has a liability right now. Now, I know you probably get emotional about your baggage too. A lot of women that have baggage, you maybe had a relationship that you're no longer involved in. There is emotional baggage, and then there's emotion about baggage. Yes. Have you ever traveled and for some reason you lost your baggage? It's very upsetting. You get to a new location and you have no change of clothes. Right. All your personal items. Could you get me the airlines that work with the delivery of lost baggage? As I remember it, at one point in my life, we did lose a bag or some baggage. Yes. And the thought was the family's always rearranging things so that you get delivered to you something you didn't, well, you did know you were going to get it, but you didn't know how. Could you get me the baggage handlers at each and every airport of the United States and all the baggage delivery services and every oath of office? Yes, every attorney. Hmm. All of those that are in law enforcement, yes. Every mandatory reporter, all teachers, preachers, and oaths that in the last 30 years have lost their luggage, when traveling, yes. And somebody made arrangements that when you got your suitcase, you had some very special items that no one wanted anybody to know about. Now, I asked for the actual travel of those in office. Yes. Now I'm asking to know, did you get emotional when you lost your baggage? And did somebody make a special delivery for you? Oh. Now I know. Top secret family. I'm gonna want to know all of those that have AIDS that have been donating plasma or well, once a day. I've been I've been Facebooking some very large-breasted African American women that have one or two little babies.